This show promises to get off to a fast start as Jenny prepares to drop one from way outside. Get that goaltender to commit, and Molly will beat you with her backhand. Race for that seat as we get ready to celebrate more winter sports. Are you ready for the big finish? Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sportsnight. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. Not quite the jam-packed show we had last week, but we have a lot to bring everybody.
Yeah, we do. And, you know, teams, a couple of teams getting a little breather.
Yep.
A couple of teams starting their tournament season. So a very exciting time of year. We're going to start with the boys hockey team. On Tuesday last week, they were on the road to take on a very tough Rogers Royals squad. Rogers gave them a 6-1 loss. Look at the shots on goal, nearly 4-1 in favor of the Royals. Will Marty scoring the lone goal. Austin Durkop did make 39 saves in the loss. Well, the Cardinals now close out the regular season with 4 straight on home ice. They started the stretch with a visit from Woodbury on Saturday. The Royals came in a couple games over 500 and fighting for position in their conference and section standings. They're a tough team, but a team the Cardinals had a good chance to try and knock off. Cardinals get a 5-on-3 early in the first, and they take advantage. Dylan Pack with a wrist shot from the top of the circles. Nets his first of the season. Gives a salute to his brother Casey up above, and Coon Rapids has the lead. But Woodbury controls most of the action, and they score in bunches. Ethan Hansen gets it past Durkop to score midway through the period. The Royals take the lead less than 30 seconds later. Nicholas Bradley slides it out front. Nicholas Olofsson scores far side. Woodbury never looks back. Short-handed breakaway. Great effort on the back check by Tandon Bush. Able to knock the puck away, but called for a slash, and Woodbury elects the penalty shot. Mason Pelkey takes his time on the approach. Durkop stays strong, able to make the save and keep it a 1-goal game. But the Royals score another pair late in the second. McCray Gordon's one-timer gave them a 2-goal lead, and they get another 30 seconds later to take a 4-1 lead to the locker room. Cardinals net another power play goal midway through the second. Eli Bowden digs it free, feeds Nathan Clark at the back door. Lucky number 13 for Clark. They get one more in the third. Short-handed Rowan Bresnahan out front to Bowden for the one-timer. But the Cardinals lose this one 7-3. Kind of an interesting story about the last goal is Nathan Clark was on a breakaway, and they blew it dead for knocking it down with a high stick. He argued the call got he most likely would have scored on the breakaway, and I'm not sure whether it was a high stick or not, but he got an unsportsmanlike for arguing the call, and on the shorthanded attempt, the Cardinals able to get a goal. So that part of it was good.
But the unfortunate that he got the penalty called on him.
The officiating was questionable to say the least. I really loved Tandon Bush's back check. But a ref, anytime even though it's stick on stick, if it's up close to the hands or it's relatively close to being parallel to the ice, you're going to get the slashing call. And it was loud stick on stick contact, so they gave him the slash. Unfortunately, it was a great effort. Definitely encourage him to continue to back check like that. I'd tell you, coaches love that, goalies love that, and me as a fan, I love that. Cardinals host Simley on Tuesday, and Howie,
we'll be there.
They host number 1 ranked Andover on Thursday, and they will close out the regular season with a visit from the Pipers from St. Paul Highland Park on Saturday. Girls team actually wrapped up the regular season this past week, and a big win on Wednesday night. They knock off the Blaine Bengals. Always great to see them beat the Bengals. That rivalry is still strong, and it was a tight one. Bluebirds 2-1. Kennedy Bolander and Brooklyn Johnson had the goals. Tara Beza and Julian got the assists.
I know when I talked to Coach Gutterman about that, he thought that was just a really big win for the program. The fact that they got that 2-1 win against Blaine was especially at this time of the year, really huge win for them. Well, the Bluebirds closed out their regular season schedule with a Friday night affair against Rogers. It was a special event, the first annual Military Appreciation Night, with both teams honoring service members and veterans. And the Bluebirds would really have to battle if they hoped to end on a high note. Rogers is one of the top teams in the section, and they're riding a 7-game win streak. CPCR trailing 2-0 in the first, but they get one back on the power play early in the second. Abby Ness staying with it, putting the rebound past the keeper. Her 10th of the year. She's 4th on the team to reach that mark. But Rogers scored 2 late in the period to take a 4-1 lead into the third. Bluebirds trying to come back in the final frame. Molly Terabeza trying to center, but it's off the keeper's stick and into the net. Another look on how up top shows the fortunate bounce. You're going to see it coming up here. Here you look at it, fortunate bounce for the home team. But it wasn't a fluke. Terabeza leading the Bluebird offense all year. She gets another less than a minute later. A block springs her on the breakaway. As she saw there, makes it look easy on the backhand. CPR back within a goal with plenty of time left. Rogers answers quickly. They get numbers down low. Anna Sherling able to score in close, give the Royals a little cushion again. Bluebirds power play midway through the third. Terabeza flips it out front. Kennedy Bolander able to poke it home. She and Terabeza both with a team-high 16 goals this year. CPCR keeps it interesting to the end, but the Royals get one late in the period. McKenna Sandberg's shot somehow sneaks through Boucher, and that's how scoring would end. A 6-4 loss finishes the Bluebirds' regular season at 13-11-1.
And overall, I think a pretty solid season for the Bluebirds.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
definitely a couple there they'd like to have back. Osseo Park Center, most notably, in these last couple of weeks. But there were a couple earlier games earlier in the season as well where they were so close. Really, honestly, that Centennial first game kind of got away from them. A late tie by Centennial, and they lose it overtime in a game that they pretty much controlled. But they've got a lot of positives going into the playoffs. They've gotten contributions from a number of different players. I think they have 7 or 8 that are in double digits. Molly Terabeza, 35 points on the season. She's been outstanding, and she's come on. And all of their top scorers have really started to peak over these last couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
So everybody in stride at the right time. But this is a tough section. They are going to have to beat some very good teams to get there. This is our guess. The meeting is happening right now, but our estimation is that the Coon Rapids Champlain Park Bluebirds will be the number 5 seed and will take on North Wright County in the quarterfinals. Maple Grove will get the number 1 seed and host in Irondale St. Anthony. Rogers, the number 2 seed, will start against Mounds View. Centennial will get Osseo Park Center in that first round. So, the Bluebirds did not play Maple Grove as tight as they would have liked in the regular season, but they know what they're up against should they get past North Wright County. The biggest difficulty, I think, for Coach Gutterman and his squad is, of all the teams in that bracket, that is the team that they're least familiar with.
Exactly.
And that's a tough way to start.
It is a tough way to start, but they know what they have, and they have the ability. They're playing pretty good hockey here at the end of the season, and they have the ability, to put a little streak together. And as you mentioned, if it comes down to that, and we hope that the final against Maple Grove would be a great game.
Well, it would be a semifinal against Maple Grove.
Yep.
Possibly a rematch with Rogers in the final. That could happen. But right now, this is a program in year number 5. They have yet to win in the playoffs. So it's one game at a time. And if they can get past North Wright County on Saturday, it's all gravy from there. And Howie, on Saturday,
we'll be there.
All of the section action coming from Roseville Arena, as it always has been in previous years before COVID. Well, the wrestling team, a couple of events on Thursday and Saturday. On Thursday, they went to Chaska for a quadrangular, and they swept up. They beat up on Cooper 69-6, beat North St. Paul 59-10, and then in a dramatic win over the hosts from Chaska Chanhassen, it was their big guy, the heavyweight, got a pin as it went down to the final match, and Skillings came up big for him to secure that victory and get their win streak to 11 straight dual meets. There you see Skradsky, Jeebly, Wells, and Dubney all with perfect days at the quadrangular. Then on Saturday, they were in Blaine for a duels tournament. Started out against Owatonna, and the win streak came to an end with a 54-15 loss. They bounced back with a dramatic 38-31 win over Rosemont, but came up short against Elk River in what would be the consolation final, 46-25. But again, the leaders doing what they need to do. There you see Skillings had a couple of pins. Podubny went 2-1. Wells went 3-0. Skradsky went 3-0 with a couple of pins. The young captains leading the way, undefeated through those 6. So, as they get ever closer to the section tournament, those top guys, this team, especially in Section 7, we'd love to see them, pull off the huge upset, slip on the gold slipper, and get past Anoka. Probably not going to happen, but they do have a handful of guys who have had good seasons that have a chance to advance.
Well, if you talk to the coaches, Coach Adams, obviously, and you'd say probably not his most talented team that he's had for a while. But the fact that they have 17 wins, I think that's pretty respectable. And, he's going into this season, I think, with some inexperienced wrestlers, as we talked. And hopefully, you're right. If you can get a few guys through, you just never know what happens.
Well, and they have a chance to pick up 3 more wins. They'll be in Hutchinson for a quadrangular on Thursday, and then the section team meet is next Friday at Champlin Park High School. Well, the gymnastics team is preparing for the biggest meet of the season so far. Section championships coming up for them on Friday in Forest Lake. Last week, the Cardinals' final tune-up, a tri-meet at Champlin Park. This young lineup has really started to show their skills and see their scores go up over the past few weeks, and that trend continued against the Rebels and the Orioles. CTN webcast team was there for the action. We start with Cece Aureli on the vault. Solid stick on the landing. She finished 11th with an 8.05. Junior Lana Vang on the uneven bars. A solid back layout on the dismount. She finishes 11th as well with a 5.95. Vang was also 3rd on the vault and 6th on the floor. This is Savannah Lusk on the floor. That tumbling run, part of a 7.1. That's 12th place in the tri-meet. Senior Ada Drummy has been a solid leader for the team all year. She was their top finisher in 2 events, 2nd in the other 2. She was 8th place on the floor with a 7.65. Here's Cece again, this time on the beam, a solid routine. Start to finish, she scores a 7.225, good enough for 11th place. Cardinals once again able to put up their best team score of the year with a 116.675.
And again, it's this time of the season, it's good to see them putting up those kind of numbers and their best score of the year. And obviously that's when you want to do it as the season progresses.
Step by step with as much youth and what little experience they had coming in. It has been a slow progression, but they have seen those scores go up a little bit. Now it's time for the individuals to have their opportunity. They have their section tournament coming up on Friday in Forest Lake, and then should anybody advance, state tournament will be next week at Roy Wilkins.
Well, the swimming and diving team has a couple of weeks off after hosting Champlin Park for their final duel of the season. Thursday's meet would determine 9th place in the Northwest Suburban. The Cardinals won the regular season meeting with the Rebels, and they were determined to do it again in the tournament. It helps to get a strong start, and the Cardinals 200 medley relay teams deliver. The top team of Connor Butel, Tyler Schultz, Mitch Stronson, and Nolan Schultz took first. The Cardinals also took 3rd, so they were up 10-4 after the first event. The Cardinals controlled the scoreboard all night. Tyler Schultz with one of the most dominant wins you'll ever see in the 200 IM. He's in 25 seconds ahead of anyone else. The Cardinals took 3rd and 4th as well. Sophomore Zach Carter leading a very young diving team. He has a strong showing to take 2nd place with a score of 128.40. Coon Rapids racked up 1st place finishes, and their depth secured the victory. Nolan Schultz sprinting to the wall to take 1st in the 100 freestyle, time of 54.24. Ben Ephraim finished 2nd. Sophomore Mitch Stronson was 2nd in the 200 freestyle, but he also grabs the blue ribbon in the 500, and a pair of freshmen finished 3rd and 4th. The Cardinals finished really strong, a 1-2-4 finish in the 100 backstroke, led by Connor Butel, followed by a 1-2-3 finish in the 100 breaststroke, guaranteed the win. So the 400 freestyle team racing exhibition and blowing away the competition. Same group from the 200 free is almost 30 seconds ahead at the end, and the Cardinals cruise to a 101-82 win.
Yeah, it's great to see, Coach Donaldson at the beginning of the season, he knew that Tyler was going to have a great year. He'd already put his name on the school record board. He had a chance to do it in a couple of events this year. But behind that, he didn't really know because they had lost so much. But this sophomore group that had been there as freshmen and got some good experience last year has really come a long way. But then you see guys that are freshmen, the divers, there's a 7th and an 8th grader that are diving varsity for the Cardinals. So they have some pieces, some good quality pieces that are very young. So that means great things for the future of this program. And it's much like gymnastics, coming up section tournament. Now it's time for the individuals to shine. Tyler Schultz certainly has the opportunity, depending on what races they put him in. And Coach Donaldson talked about it just this past week or two about the big decisions need to be made now as far as who is going to swim which events to give the most guys their best chance to get to that state tournament. So they've got a couple of weeks to figure it out. Sections isn't until the end of the month, the 24th through the 26th. That will be at Northdale Middle School. State tournament will be down at the University of Minnesota's Freeman Aquatic Center from March 3rd through the 5th. No skiing events for either Nordic or Alpine this past week, but both will have big meets this week. For the Nordic team, they have section tournaments, their section championships on Wednesday. State tournament will be up in Biwabik on Wednesday and Thursday next week. For the Alpine team, their section race is up at Giants Ridge on Tuesday of this week, and should they be fortunate enough to send anyone, they'll be back up at Giants Ridge on Wednesday next week for the state tournament. Boys basketball team, we talk about it so often in so many sports. How strong the competition up here can be, well, that's just how good it can get. Totino Grace is the #1 ranked team in the state. They are a 3A school, but they beat the #1 4A team from Park Center. Oh, by the way, both #1 teams in the state in the Northwest Suburban Conference. That tells you something about the quality in the Northwest suburbs. Cardinals, excuse me, still getting some quality performances. Kaijan and McKeith Deng each had 10 points. Galama had 9. Smith had 7. Ellingson held to just 3 points, but 3 blocks.
Against a team like that, 3 points, but 3 blocks is nice. And what do you have? 6 rebounds as well. And that's a really good team with 2 really good prospects for the next level from Totino Grace. That's a tough one. Plus, I heard they were cold. The Cardinals were cold from the field as well.
And that'll happen. But they bounced back on Friday, and they beat up the Champlain Park Rebels. Not really beat them up, but they beat them 80-74. They sweep them.
They did.
For the first time in Lord knows how long. I was telling Howie before the show, I look back when they won the first meeting with the Rebels, and it was, I think, 2011 was the last time they had beaten Champlain Park. But in that season, they had lost the first meeting by 1 point. So I got to do some additional research, find out how long it's been since they swept them. A very long time. That's the important part. But look at the numbers. Cummings-Coleman, 25. Galama, 22. Smith, 20 points. 3 guys hitting 20 points.
Yeah, when was the last time
you
saw 3 guys hit 20?
Very, very rare. Impressive, and so exciting to see this team having this success. They are at Maple Grove tonight, and then they will be at Anoka on Thursday. Girls basketball team, same schedule. Totino Grace, maybe not the #1 team in the state, but still pretty good on the girls' side. They beat the Cardinals 74-43. Jenny did everything she could. 29 of the Cardinals' 43 points.
She's good at basketball, I've heard. She's not bad.
She is a pretty impressive player. Camille Washburn had 9 points. Delana had 3, and Casey Beck had a pair. Well, the road didn't get any easier for the Cardinals. On Friday night, they were at Champlin Park to take on the Rebels. Rebels were only a game above 500, but they had just recently beat Blaine, the top team in the Cardinals section. So the Cardinals would definitely have their hands full trying to keep up. Coon Rapids trying to get everybody going early on. Casey Beck with a little fadeaway in the lane gives the Cardinals a brief lead in the first half, but Champlin Park really controlled the game start to finish. Cardinals do keep fighting. Steal by Ntabwe near the baseline. Cardinals get it up court quickly. Chloe Christie finishes the fast break, but still a double-digit deficit for the Cards. Late in the half, Jenny Ntabwe with a three-pointer from the top of the key. She had another big night, leading the Cardinals with 21 points. But it's a 10-point game at the break. Coon Rapids trying to keep Champlin Park within reach in the second. Casey Beck uses the glass from long range, 3 of her 8 points in the game. But the Rebels continue to open the lead, and the Cardinals just have to keep battling. Chloe Christie driving strong to the baseline, gets the basket and the foul. Another look at Christie's move to the basket. She had 7 for the Cardinals against Champlin Park. Delana Washburn added 8 for the Cardinals, including this three-pointer late in the game. With the Rebels running away to the finish and celebrating a big milestone, Michaela Counts hits a short jump shot, and that surpasses 1,000 points in her career. Her teammates there to congratulate her. Icing on the cake in a 65-49 win for the Rebels. Pretty cool, that celebration.
Congratulations to her.
Absolutely, that is a major milestone. Still time for Jenny to reach it. It won't be this week, but we'll try and get you updated numbers next week.
It's got to be getting fairly close.
Well, she had 50 points last night.
Yeah, last 2 games.
Last week. She had 50 points. She had 21 in the game before that. 71
divided by 3, carry the 5. She's close.
She's close. She's close. We'll do the math another time. I was told there'd be no math. They still have a couple weeks left of their season. They are hosting Maple Grove while we're sitting on this set on Monday night. They'll host Anoka on Thursday. And Howard,
we'll be there.
And we may have that updated math to talk about on Thursday night. So we hope you will join us. We do have boys hockey coming up on Tuesday. We have girls basketball coming up on Thursday. Behind that, it's girls hockey playoffs. We expect to be at the Roseville Arena at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon to see the Bluebirds take on North Wright County, and that will be we will get the final word on that sometime later this evening. But whatever time they're at Roseville on Saturday, that's where we'll be. Of course, that game will be rebroadcast starting at midnight. We're not allowed to show tournament games.
Correct.
Live.
I had sent a text to Coach Gutterman, hoping I'd get an update, and all he said was leave me alone. So I guess he won't let me know what it is. But.
Well, I'll tell you, there was one other event for Cardinal Athletics, a very special event. The national letter signing of intent was on Wednesday. A great group of Cardinal athletes, 14 kids there to make their choices known for playing at the next level. 10 of the 14 are girls, 3 players from the girls hockey team, 2 are moving on to play hockey. Yep. That is Emma Strauss going to Jamestown, where she'll play at the Division I level, and Molly Terabeza will be going to St. Olaf. Kennedy Bolander is continuing her athletic career in lacrosse, but she is also on the girls hockey team. So Muhammad making his move to Valley City College in North Dakota. So a lot of smiles from families, moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas. There's Eric Strauss and Carrie along with Emma. And exciting to have that next step in place and ready to move to the next level. And it's great to see so many kids getting that opportunity, all the way from junior college through Division I athletes coming out of the program. There's a look at the names and their choices. Anna Kepke and Molly Knobloch both choosing St. Thomas to further their soccer careers. couple of football players, a couple of swimmers, a little bit of everything, a little mix.
Yeah, we certainly congratulate them and wish them all the best in their endeavors after they leave high school. And we love to see that, the fact that they get to do what they love at the next level.
Well, and it's such a huge part. That's why we're here. We love sports for a number of reasons, but I have always loved sports for what it teaches young people about the benefit of working hard and the importance of commitment and how they can carry that on in their lives elsewhere, or get so lost in their love of sport that they end up sitting on a desk like this.
Exactly, but hey, just being big kids, which is always fun.
But that is going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. We want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continue to support everything we do here at CTN. To the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.